can we listen? This is, listen. We are not going, listen, Marlene.
It was not our reunion, Dave. You're on.
You shut the mic off. We're not doing this shit. Marlene, do you have a, Miss Marlene, I read out at the beginning a harassment policy. I've heard over here freedom of speech. Okay, well let me tell you something. We are going to be respectful. We are going to be respectful. If you can be respectful and ask the appropriate questions, then we're going to continue there. Then we're going to continue. If we can't, we're not going to continue. We're not taking personal attacks at anybody. I have my adversaries out there as well. But we are not going to. You don't have to like me, but you're not going to grandstand and no, we're not going to disrespect. So let me know if you're going to move forward. Do we have a question? Okay, we have a question.
Yeah, here's the first question. Are we going to keep funding the drag strip shows at Port Elgin?
Going through.
Okay. No, how about the next question? We got a concession on here. Landis has no concessions. What's with the mandatory shots? The states, if they implement it.
Let me speak on that. So the question is. So the question is.
We're not happy, Dave. All I asked was that it be all vote.
Marlene, I'm going to answer your question.
Sure. It should. Sure.
I'm going to answer your question.
He knows that.
All I had to do was.
Your question is relative to the vaccine policy on page 20, correct? Your vaccine question there.
Sure.
The company has committed to ensure.
Yeah.
So we had CPK, we had the UAW, we had other facilities that didn't get the mandate put upon them.
Yeah.
There was other facilities that didn't get the mandate put upon them. What we've asked for at the minimum, because they weren't moving on it, is that if they're not moving in any of the other ones, don't just pick Windsor Assembly or Brampton Assembly or Etobicoke Casting.
So let me ask you,
So
Dave,
that's what we tried to get in there, and that's what we were successful with.
I can understand that, those 10 words. What I'm asking you, Dave, is when the UAW pushes back against a vaccine policy and they go to court over it, what does that leave for us? Nothing. We can't fight it because when we vote to say yes, we're voting that we'll just accept when they come with the vaccine. Stellantis says, we're going to mandate in the U.S., we're going to mandate in Canada. The U.S. goes to court while we have it mandated. So that is a concession.
I'm not sure what you mean, the U.S. with the court.
What do you mean? They can make a policy and not enforce it over there, and we cannot fight it, and we cannot go to arbitration because we will vote on it, and we will just get fired.
Marlene, that's not factual, your comment. Your last comment about arbitration is not factual. It is still there going to arbitration. So what is the question around the vaccine?
Not moving here forward.
What's the question, please?
So if they mandate it,
Pardon?
If the company makes a policy in Canada and the U.S., and the U.S. goes to court, and Canada...
The U.S. hasn't gone to court.
Whatever. No, a new policy. We're talking future. We already know what you guys did. We already know what the National did. The National came out in February when we were locked out and said the vaccines didn't stop.
Okay, I'm not making this meeting I'm not making this a vax meeting. This is not a vax meeting, Marlene. Not a chance. Congratulations. Brother, over here on the mic. Brother, on the mic. Yes, please.
That's 1, 2, 3.
Come close.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Daskalakis. 23 years, 16 years as a floater. Here's my question, especially to you, James Stewart. Who is responsible for terminating my human and democratic right to vote in person with a signature like a real man? It's a simple question. Who is responsible for terminating my human rights and my democratic right to cast a vote? Well, who's responsible? Who's responsible? That's all. I don't care. I just want to know who's responsible.
You directed it to me, John.
Okay.
And I'll answer the best I can.
And I appreciate it.
Go right on. So I can tell you that and I don't mean disrespect from this, so
No,
don't take it
not at
that
all.
way. I don't know that there's any voting that would be considered a human right, although I do understand what your point is.
Of a signature.
Sure,
A
sure.
man's
So on-
signature.
On the voting process, I can tell you that after 2020 bargaining, we had some very good comments sent to us about the process. It doesn't mean that everybody said that, but a lot of people enjoyed staying home. They saw the presentation, they didn't have to come somewhere to vote. So
Right.
when we had
Convenience.
no, you asked a
Convenience.
question, I'll give you an answer. We had an auto council earlier in the year, we had a debate at the council, and out of that, the council decided that we would stick with the online presentation and voting. We heard from our members since then. Ford went through a process, and we heard loud and clear that people wanted to be in person. So the voting is done electronically because listen, I'm
Because I'm
giving
a
you an answer.
human or a robot?
Pardon me?
Because I'm a human or a robot, it's done electronically.
John, I've known you a long time. I went to school with you.
I love you, buddy, you know
I
that.
know that. I know you're not taking a shot. I know. But the process was that this was the way we could get all the voting on all the sites from Windsor to Red Deer in a timely fashion for our members.
So did we concede my ability? Like you guys said, we didn't, no concessions? I feel now today, when I've decided to cast my ballot, I'm left behind.
So I understand what you're saying. I can tell you right now,
Thank
the
you.
only way to vote is through the online process. That's the only.
So, with me not voting, what? What happens? I go into work Sunday for 8 hours?
John, all I can tell you is, that's a choice that you have to make for yourself. I understand that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, Dave Holzbeck. I don't know where to begin, but to the bargaining team, thank you. To give you an idea how long I've been working, my master number starts with a number 7, and I've never seen a more rich contract that benefits everyone. You're looking at COLA, pensions, benefits, job security, and wages. Let's talk about wages. If we're going to compare apples to oranges, in the third year, we make more money than the UAW when you factor in COLA and benefits. Naysayers on social media need to know that anyone can be an armchair quarterback. But let me tell you that our Korean bargaining team not only scored a touchdown, they brought home the Lombardi Trophy. And I urge everyone to unanimously endorse this agreement.
Thank you. Brother?
Good morning, Dave, Lana, and the rest of the bargaining team. Thank you for the great work you've done. I just have some questions. Being hired in 2015, the hybrid pension plan. It seems like the other plans have a little bit more clarity. What would our monthly allowance be once we retire after 30 years? Thank you, guys.
Go ahead, James. We're going to pass it.
1,700. So the seniority is different. The hybrid pension, just for everyone's, because a lot of people don't understand it. The hybrid pension, and it's a group that were hired from 2012 to 2016, have two parts to their pension. They have a defined benefit plan for half of their pension, which means it's part of the legacy members that have the full pension plan. You get exactly half of it. So when we get a gain,
No, we don't.
on the factor, on the
After
multiplication
clawback, no, we
factor,
don't.
we got the gain of $5 plus the 60 cents that was historically out of line with Ford. You get half of that on half of your pension. So it's a $2 for people in A through C. It's $2.50 in addition to what's already there. And then your other half is the contribution plan, like the DC contributions. And on that side, you got a 10-cent increase contribution from the company. So overall, what we tried to do was look at the gains that were made for the defined pension plan, the gains made for the defined contribution plan, and make sure yours came up at the same level. So the problem is, because of your contributions, each person's different. I can't give you an identical or an exact answer for everybody. Everybody's individual, but we brought it up at the same level as the other two, so they're in line. That's what we tried to achieve.
So, being like the new hires, we are been growing in over 8 years. So we haven't been able to contribute what some of the people who have been working way longer, right? So if we're trying to keep up, it says here 1,700, whereas the legacy workers are getting about 3,000 something, I'm forgetting.
So you get half. That's the DB proportion.
Yeah.
So it's half.
What would the rough, like, combined of it be? I know you can't give us exact.
So half is exactly half of the defined proportion. On the other side, it all depends on your contributions. So I can't give you an answer on the other half. What we tried to do is make sure what the contributions coming from the company were in line to make sure you all came up equally. So your defined contribution would come up just like the people in the DC plan. And theirs are individual too. It all depends on your contribution. So I can only give you a hard answer on the defined benefit piece, where you get the $2.50 increase.
Okay, thank you very much, James.
Thanks. Go ahead, sister.
Good morning. Alicia
Morning.
Jones here. I have a two-part question. The first part is for James and Orlana, and the second part is for Paul Renner up there. The first part is, last contract we bargained for the third shift to come back 2024 with 5,700 job security. This contract, we're bargaining for it 2025 and 1,000 less jobs secured. Why is that? Why the extension? Why the cuts? And the second part for Paul is, last contract, we also asked for 75 apprentices. That never happened. Now we're doing 150. When is that going to happen?
Okay.
So I'll answer first on the investment. So in 2020, we bargained investment, and it was the first time we ever had conversations in Canada. Prior to 2020 bargaining, there was $0 invested towards EV and EV transition. So when we bargained it, we had no idea what might come. We didn't know if it was going to be the vehicles we produce today. We certainly didn't think it would be the next generation of muscle cars. We thought they might stay in Brampton, and then through the process, we had heard they were going to Belvedere, which was painful for us. So now they've come in and they've given us a number, but they've given us a number on 3 vehicles. So they've given us a number on the van we built today, the Pacifica, which includes the PHEV, the ICE, and the BEV. And then moving forward, we know we have the next generation of muscle cars, and they're not going to make all their announcements on muscle cars because everything goes to how people buy cars. If we start building electric and they think, for sure the ICE engine's coming, well, no one buys the electric. So they want to make sure they're getting everything. We have the commitment on the lead producer for the next generation of vehicles. And then there's another vehicle that might jump to 4,700 in 2026 that they haven't committed to. And that's bargaining was going on. You heard Belvedere bargain a mid-sized truck. This is not the midnight truck. So there's a 4th vehicle that will be announced sometime, we expect, over the course of the agreement. So when we bargained in 2020, we were estimating how many people. Now we know it's going to be a minimum of 4,700, and that could grow with another vehicle in the back end.
Thank you.
And the other one on the apprentice, so the 75, I mean, that's obviously on what their conditions are, et cetera. We almost lost our apprenticeship program. So this one says up to 150. That could be 1 to 150. So we don't know what them numbers are. We have to look. We think they should have already put the apprentices in because they're behind. So we have that number that's going to move forward because over half of the trades in there today are eligible to retire. So they're behind already. So we know that we have to make sure we get the apprenticeship program continuing.
Now, if I may real quick, I know that for apprentices, it's a 1-to-1 basis. So we have to have 1 trades for 1 apprentice. Say all those guys were eligible to go. We now might not have enough to bring in the apprentices that we're going to need for training one-on-one.
We have to make sure that we have the ratio for them. Yes, no, we know that's we know we have to have the amount of tradespeople for apprentices. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
I want to talk about the vaccine policy again. Anyways, the vaccine mandate a couple years ago was a total shit show. Over 350 members were put out on the street. Well, after the fact, it was already known that the vaccine didn't even prevent transmission or infection. But we were put out anyway. The union failed us at that point. They didn't stand up for us. Now, it's in the contract now that there's possible future talks of this again. Dave, you personally answered my question at one of the union at the union meeting, saying that as long as you're president, there will not be another vaccine mandate. But clearly on page 20, you have forgotten what you have said.
Well, let me be clear. Hang on. So I don't know what the question is. I'm not sure where you're going to go with the question on it. But if it wasn't for this local, you wouldn't be working there today. I'm being honest with you. We would not be there today because we had a policy in place that those 200 or whatever, and then grievance is still alive.
It was over 300,
That
it was almost
grievance-
350.
I'm just telling you, whatever the number on the grievances are on my desk today are still active. They're
Well, that's-
continue to be active because we still have to deal with the policy that's in place from before. We weren't able to make sure that was achieved. It's going through the arbitration process now.
Okay, that's going through the arbitration, that's one thing, but moving forward with this new contract, there should be nothing about a vaccine mandate, nothing about a vaccine policy.
Well,
That is bodily autonomy. We have the right to choose what we want to put in our bodies. And especially when there's all these adverse reactions, there are so many injured people in the plant because of these injections.
Point taken, brother. Point taken.
And there's going to be a lot of no votes just on this
Point
policy
taken.
alone.
Point taken. Go ahead, sister.
I have a couple of little small questions, so if you'll just bear with me. I have 20 hours extra vacation time that I'm not allowed to use until I use up the whole 80 that we would normally have during shutdown. I don't know if it was discussed with the company to try to just fix the hub so that I can just move my 20 hours over. Because this year we didn't have a 2-week shutdown, so I can't use my 20 hours till I use my second 40, and I need to go Black Friday shopping. Just saying. I don't know if that was talked about or...
Yeah, no. Who wants to handle 20 hours?
Tony's telling us it's being converted to PAA. So you're not going to lose it.
Okay, we'll do that.
Allison, we'll get you the answer, Allison.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Another small question was, again, thank you for the 110-day language from those of us whose jobs have been eliminated and added to, and it's absolutely crazy. So that's really important language, and I hope the grievances that came about from that with management working on the line every single day was somehow handled, because they cannot do that. I shouldn't have to train my supervisor how to do my job so I can go pee. That's bullshit. This is a union place.
Yeah.
And my last thing, I'm a 2010 hiree, so we kind of fall in the if you were hired pre-2009 or post-2012, well, we're 2010. So we're reading about this new post-retirement benefits plan that we might be able to opt into. Problem is, we're all old. So how long, but we came in as already working at another place. So we're pretty old. So a lot of people have even already retired. But that being said, how long do I have to work before I can retire and draw benefits out of that new plan? Because I'm old, like...
She's asking about the trust.
Yeah, so the trust, we did 2 things for the group inside the trust. Inside that closed group, 2009 to 2012. The first thing we did, we recognized that some of you would have a portion of money in your account, and we didn't want to force you, knowing you had a portion of money in the account, to use the AFC no matter what. So what we did was, we made sure the contributions will continue, and you will have a choice on whether or not you join the ELHT, a one-time offer for all of that group. The second part of your question is, how is it going to apply to you moving forward if you might be, a little older, maybe you're closer to retirement than others. The one reason I think everyone has to talk to their own financial planners, and I wouldn't say it just as a backhanded comment, but for me, I think I would recommend people to join the trust because it's a pool of money, and secondly, future bargaining committees, and I don't know when, whether it's 3 years or 15 years from now, may be able to bargain monies from the company into that fund to make sure all of the people that are hired and part of the ELHT are secure in their retirement. So that's the second part. All funds will start going there for those that are hired after 2012. That closed group will have the option. So it just comes down to how long it'll take to accumulate funds and what future bargaining committees can bargain to bolster that fund to make sure anyone going is protected.
So we're gonna have some sort of meeting on this so that
There's
you
gonna
guys can
be
explain it a
all
little
kinds of
better?
information coming once it's fully established and talking to you. In the meantime, all the contributions will continue to come.
Okay, yeah, because like I said, I'll be 53 in a couple weeks. If I want to retire at 60, which I'm not, I can't afford it, but whatever. But if I did, some people are going to be retiring within the next few years, but they don't know what that fund entails. And if you are already retired, do you get the perks of it continuing to grow if you make more gains in the future, or do you retire with what you got and that's it?
So just for your information and make sure that you're captured, the minimum qualifier for the ALHT changes, reminding me of this, is 55 years with 10 years of service, and then you qualify. So I know you're 53, so don't make a decision for the next 2 years.
Not a problem. I'm probably going to be there till I'm 69, dragging my oxygen tank.
Listen, I'm with you.
Thanks, Allison. Brother on the mic?
Yeah, my name is Tom Croachman, and I have a couple questions to ask. First, I want to say that thank you for the deal. It seems pretty good on the surface. There's lots of major gains you've achieved. Even still, I think it was mostly because the UAW had forced the big three into major gains, and we capitalized on that. But my two questions are, we joined Unifor without the membership's vote or anything. It just happened. Is there any way that we could possibly vote on getting out of Unifor? Because I see zero benefit of being in Unifor. Number two, I am one of the members who were forced out of work for the vaccine mandate that was accepted by the Unifor leader, who was later put in jail for whatever. I don't enjoy being pushed out of work by some leader in Toronto that's not even in the auto industry. Are we can get a chance to get out of Unifor, or are we stuck with it forever?
Brother, there's a process in the Constitution that you can check. There's a process in the Constitution for that. It's online, you can check it. We are Unifor now, and people have a decision, or they can make a decision, and it's up to the membership. It's in the Constitution.
So the CAW is dead forever then?
CAW doesn't exist right now.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
So you said you're in arbitration for the 400 so people who were forced out of work. I'm sad that you don't know the actual number. It should have been calculated long ago to an exact number. You should know this number. What's the outcome so far? How far along are we? Do we have any hope of getting the money we lost?
I'm not a lawyer, and I've said it all along that it's in the arbitration process, and the company was not going to deal with that at bargaining, and I've already answered that a couple times. Thank you.
Okay.
Sister?
So the half-hour picket line was not needed then?
Go ahead, sister.
Okay, I'm going to give kudos where it's due. You guys have got a lot of good.
I'm sorry?
I'm giving kudos to where it's due. You guys did a lot of good stuff. You got increases, you got wages. I'm giving kudos where it's due because you did get a lot of good stuff with some benefits and stuff. The pensions that we can pull out.
CB?
Like when we retire, we can take our money. Does benefits come with that?
Yes.
Okay, so you keep all the benefits?
Yes.
Okay. Angelo on his video was talking about different things. He talked about the states trying to get out of the tiers. Canada has no tiers. Like, is that a joke? We got tiers all in our plans. I just don't know why he said that. I thought that was wrong. Really, like we talk about, and we've been trained and programmed to believe that the company's got costs. They can't afford this forever and ever. We've given concessions and lost so much over the last 15, 20 years. The gains we got now for this specific one big jump were great, but we're really just catching up. But they're good, okay? And I know we're not even caught up, but I'm just saying, it was a big jump and it looks wonderful right now, but we're just still getting caught up. They're still doing division between everybody. And they love that because if we're all divided, we don't fight together. You got this, people hired from here to here. This is your pension plan. This one's yours, this one's yours. They're all different and they're dividing everybody and it's wrong. And as our union, it should all be eliminated and we should all be the same. Period. As far as pensions go, it's a joke. We've had 15 years of nothing for retirees. Do they have pea cola? You're talking about all the cola right now. Is there pea cola?
No.
So retirees again are punched in the face. They got nothing. I'm sorry. They've got nothing for 15 years. They've been frozen and now they got this little bit of an increase, which is a joke. The companies talk about, oh, no more pensions. We're not doing that anymore. And we're just supposed to believe it. They made, what, $63 billion the first 6 months? They can afford it 100%. So talk about, oh, they can't and they can't, bullshit. They need to give us everything back. We've lost a ton of shit, and we're getting things back slowly. I know it's not gonna all happen at once, but the pension part is total crap. It's crap for every tier. And as far as concessions, you said there's none. We will see in the future because we always find stuff in the future when we go to use it. But I don't know that, so we'll see. In-person voting is a concession. You say it's for the members? Bullshit. We vote for the Prime Minister in person with our signature. This online stuff is crap. Many of us know what the agenda is and we don't want this digital crap. We want to be people, humans, doing it in person. And you guys up there should not have the right to decide that for us. Okay? And last thing I'm gonna say, and I know people don't want to hear it, but I don't give a shit. When we go to work, PPE is very important for safety. You need hard hats, you need shoes, you need all the stuff you need depending on where you're working. Safety is very important. When you leave the plant, you take your PPE off. When you're trying to shove something in my body, I can't take it out. Canada is one country that has zero mandates on vaccines until the past couple year bullshit happened. It's bullshit, take that shit out.
Okay, Renee, that's great. Brother, go ahead.
I do have a question at the end of what I have to say. And I'm Robert Beneteau, CAW 444 retiree. This is a good contract. If anybody doubts it, it is a good contract. But the problem is it comes on the heels of 4 bad contracts. There's still concessions in this contract. No PCOLA. Our retirees still frozen in their pensions. Wage tiers that should have been gone. Those are concessions. So if anybody at that table thinks that there's no concessions, we still have them. They're not gone. So, you know what? Yes, we made progress forward. You guys did a good job. But we need to do a better job. 2 days ago, as a retiree now, 2 days ago, I had 2 TIAs. If anybody doesn't know what that is, they're mini strokes. And I was fortunate. I'm still standing here. Left side went almost completely numb. Couldn't lift anything. Had to spend 10 hours in the hospital. Do you know what my thoughts were? If I pass, and I'm 64 years old, if I pass, my wife gets 60% of my pension in this economy. Do you know what that does to her? It puts her in the poverty part of our financial system. And you know what? That's not fair. We need to do better, and we need to negotiate The next contract, because I know this is done. We all know this contract's done. So the next contract, we need to do better. We need that P Cola back. You got Cola, awesome. Get P Cola back. We need that as retirees.
Let's say no. Thank you.
Now, my question, you negotiated from the list that's there, I'm gonna get $150 starting whenever, quarterly, okay? Is that, and my question is, does that quarterly payment, if I pass, go to my wife?
Surviving spouse, it's not included. No.
Then we need to get that included, because she needs security,
Understand.
okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, brother.
I'd like to thank the previous two